Okay, so here is an example of an interest problem where Ted invests $5,000 in an account that earns interest and is compounded annually. After 2 years, his investment has grown to what, $5,512.50. The question is, what was the interest rate on the account? Okay, so where we need to start with all this is this formula right here. Um, where A is the total accumulated amount of money after interest is applied. P is called the principal, it's the amount at the beginning. And then R is the yearly interest rate, and T is the number of years that the interest is being applied. Okay, and we can apply this formula in all kinds of situations. One where you're, you know, you're borrowing money. One where you're earning money in an investment, like the current problem. Okay, so all we have to do is find the different um, values that we know. And one of the interesting things is that you've got four different variables. You'll always get three from the problem and be asked to find the fourth. So here we know the total accumulated amount of money is the $5,512.50. Okay, that's the total amount of money. And then let's see, the principal is 5,000. And then T is 2 years because Ted is investing for 2 years. Should put equals on all this. Okay, so now we just need to plug it into our equation. And let me copy. Can I copy? Oh, nope. Okay, so we got $5,512.50 is equal to 5,000 times 1 plus R all to the T power. All right, sorry, and here T is 2, right? So the only variable we really have is R. So now we need to go about solving this, and what we can do is the first thing we want to do is divide both sides by 5,000. That's probably the easiest way to go about this. We could expand out this and then multiply through by 5,000, but that's a lot of work. So notice that you can't subtract it. The reason being that there's a multiplication between the 5,000 and the parentheses, so it has to be divided over. And when you divide it over, you just get what, 1.1025 is equal to 1 plus R squared. Okay. And so that's what we did in this step was divide both sides. Let me go down here. Divided both sides by 5,000. And over here, what we're going to do is square root both sides. You see how on the right side of the equation we have 1 plus R squared. If we square root that, we get rid of the square. So the square root of 1.1025 ends up being 1.05. And on the right side, we're just left with 1 plus R. Okay. So square root both sides. And actually, to be technical, we should do plus or minus 1.05, but because this is a growth situation, our interest rate's not going to end up being negative. Okay, the investment grew, so the rate's positive. So we can kind of ignore, knowing that this is an interest problem, we can kind of, now we just, if you take 1 away from 1.05, you just get that 0.05 is equal to R, which means that your interest rate is 5%. Okay. Okay, so I hope that makes sense in some way. The last thing you would do is write out the answer in a sentence. Let's see, Ted's interest rate was 5% annually. Right, 0.05 is a percent, it's just 5%. So anyway, I hope that helps.